Future Dana here. We're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers, and you can help us out by sharing the channel and clicking the subscribe button. And when we reach 10,000, we're going to do a giveaway. So if you want to know what that's about, help us out. Hi, Dana here. Welcome to Sew Learn Create. I'm glad you joined us today. And if you like what you see, be sure you click that subscribe button and give this video a like. Also, we have a Patreon page where you can support us at multiple tiers. And on my Etsy shop, I have kits for a lot of the sewing tutorials on the channel. For today's project, we're going to be making Christmas ornaments. I have a playlist, Christmas in July, with a bunch of different Christmas ideas, so be sure you check out those videos also. This one is made with a unique item that you don't usually use in sewing, and that is Scrabble tiles. So, let's get started. Today we're going to make the Scrabble tile ornament. And before we begin, Flat Owl has a question for you. Do you make ornaments for family and friends? Leave a comment below. For today's project, you're going to need just a few supplies. You're going to need 2 pieces of fabric, and those will need to be 2 inches wide by 5 inches long. And then you'll need a piece of ribbon that is 2 inches long, and you don't want your ribbon to be too wide because it will be your hanger for your project, and you just don't want it too wide because after you sew it, your project is pretty narrow. So you need a narrow piece of ribbon, and then you'll need some Scrabble tiles. And I get mine by buying at the thrift store old Scrabble games, and I get my tiles that way, but you can also purchase these tiles at your local craft store. The fabrics, when you put your tiles on, you want to make sure that your fabric is not too busy. And this one is perfect. I thought this fabric might be too busy and take away from the tiles, but it really doesn't. By the time you get all your tiles on there, they really stand out. So you just want to make sure your tiles look good on your fabric. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our ribbon, we're going to fold it in half, and I'm going to clip it right here at the top in the center of one of my pieces. Then we're going to take, and that's with the right side up, I'm going to take my other piece, put it face down, or right sides together, and I'm going to clip around. And I want to leave an opening on the side because this is going to be really narrow, so it'll be harder to turn it if I leave it here. So I'm going to leave my opening on the side, one of the long sides. So I'm going to use my red and green clip method to remind me to leave an opening. So I'm going to put my green clip where I'm going to start my stitching, my red clip where I'm going to stop, and leave this opening right here. And then I'm going to clip all the way around just to make sure everything stays secure when I'm stitching. And then when I put this top clip, when I move it, I want to make sure I hold that ribbon in place and put it across there. So when we go to the machine, we're going to start here at our green, go all the way around, and leave an opening on the side. So let's go to the machine. Before we begin, I'm going to give you a little tip. This is such a small project that I have a couple of bobbins with this green variegated thread on it from a quilt project, and I want to use that up. So I put my bobbin where I normally put my thread spool, and then I have a matching bobbin in my bobbin case. So it's a great way if you're doing a small project to use up those bobbins and not waste that thread. So now we'll get to stitching. Now we're going to start here at the green clip, and I'm going to take it off and put my project in, and we're using the full width of our machine foot as our seam allowance. So I'm lining the outside edge of my fabric with the outside edge of my foot. And I'm going to go all the way around and stop at my red. When I get to the corner, I want to make sure my needle's down, lift my presser foot, rotate my project, and line it up again with that presser foot. Now here I'm going to put my finger on top of that ribbon because I don't want it to shift on me. When I rotate, I'm going to just take a quick peek, make sure it's still in there the way I want it. Mine's shifted a little bit, so I'm going to pull it up a little, line it up good, and then hold my finger on there while I stitch across that, and then I'm going to back stitch. So I'm going to cross my ribbon, I'm going to back stitch, and then continue forward. And then here's my red clip. I'm going to take my finger off to remind me to leave this small opening. And we'll go back to the mat for the next step. Now we've stitched all the way around, leaving a small opening. And I like to turn my project over and make sure I got all of my fabric and lined up well and everything. So the next thing I want to do is I want to clip my corners diagonal, just to reduce that bulk a little bit. So when I turn it, my corners will come out a little crisper. But I don't want to cut that stitching. So you just make sure you cut on the diagonal and you don't cut your stitching. Then we're going to turn it right side out. I use my chopstick to kind of push it out there. And then I'm going to use my chopstick just to kind of work those corners out to where they're nice and squared off. The other reason to leave your opening on the side is so you go around all four corners and you can get them to turn out nicely. It's a little harder when you leave an opening at the bottom. So now that's done. And when I press this or iron it, I want to make sure that these turn in, because when we top stitch it, that's going to close that opening. And I just want to make sure those fabrics are turned in nicely. And I like to kind of roll my seams to where they flatten a little bit before I press it. All right. Then we'll go back to the machine and we're just going to top stitch around this to make it all lay nice and flat, but also to close up this opening. So let's go back to the machine. Now we're going to top stitch, and I'm going to use the inside edge of my foot as my guide, because that gives me a really narrow seam allowance here. So I just want to start above my opening and go all the way around. Again, when I get to those corners, I'm going to leave my needle down in my project, lift my presser foot, rotate, making sure I line it back up with the inside edge. And when I come back to the stitching, I'm going to cross it just a little bit to lock all those stitches in place and back stitch. Now we'll go back to the mat and add our letters. Now I'm going to press my project one last time before I add my letters. Now the 5-inch length that I gave you in the beginning would be for like a 4-letter word. If you wanted to do your family name, you would just need to count out your letters. I would lay them out and then kind of measure and give yourself, be sure you give a 1/2 inch around to give for seam allowance. And to add my letters, I'm going to use Eileen's tacky glue, and I like to keep my tacky glue because it is very thick in a cup turned upside down. That way it's always at the tip ready to go because it doesn't flow down very easily. And I'm going to lay my letters out with just a little bit of space between each letter. You could butt them up right next to each other if you liked that look, but I kind of like it with just a little space in between. And then I'm going to just pull off each letter. And it doesn't take a lot of glue. You could use any kind of glue that bonds pretty well. I don't know that Elmer's glue would work well, but any kind of sticky type glue, Gorilla Glue, something like that, or the tacky glue works really well. And you just push it in place, and it doesn't take a lot of glue. And the nice thing about Eileen's tacky glue is if you get a little bit on your outside of your letters, it does dry clear. All right, now our ornament is put together, and I spelled out the word hope on this one. I did Noel on here, but there's lots of words that you could spell. Your family name, if you were giving it to somebody who was newly married, you could spell their last name and it would be a Christmas ornament for their first Christmas together. And be sure you answer Flat Al's question of leave a comment. Do you make ornaments for your family and friends? So our project's complete. I hope you liked today's project, the Scrabble tile ornament. And be sure and remember to leave a comment answering Flat Al's question. So see you in the next one.